All right, so I thought we might get started. And as we go along, you're welcome to message in the chat, and I'll get back to it if I can. I'll try not to be distracted by the messages coming through, but yeah, do message me if you have a question. And yeah, I thought we might start with a little telling you a little bit about myself. So I'm Beth, and I help women do exercises at home to help their bodies feel strong and keep moving well, so that they can enjoy everything they want to do in their life. I started My Pilates Time 8 years ago, and I'll talk to you more about My Pilates Time later and how you can get started if you feel that's right for you. So yeah, the very first, a little bit about me. I live in the South Island of New Zealand in Christchurch. I'm Australian though, and I've been here 8 years. And I live here with my husband, Mike, and I've got 2 children. Well, I never know whether to say children because they're grown now, so grown children. Kelsey is 19 and Ben is 17, and they've both finished school. So yeah, and when I first started Pilates, Kelsey and Ben were little, just early days in primary school. And I booked in. I'd never sort of gone to Pilates classes. I'd never done a Pilates class before, and I'd never been to the gym or yoga or any kind of exercise class. And the reason I decided to take a first class was because I just really wanted some time out for myself. I just thought I'll book in a little treat for myself once a week. I'll go to this class, and it'll just be an outing to give myself some time, because my husband, Mike, was traveling for work quite a bit, and I was a primary school teacher. So I was busy. It was a busy time, and I thought Pilates will give me a nice little outing to look forward to. So I went along, and I loved it from the very first class. I just found it so peaceful and relaxing, because it gave me, an hour just to breathe, focus on my breath, my body, and just have that time to myself. And I found it really good for stress relief, and it was just good for me. But then as I started to keep going along, I did start to notice changes in my body, and I did feel like, certain muscles were almost, waking up that I hadn't used before. And I hear that from a lot of my members all the time. They say, I feel like some muscles have woken up, or I'm feeling parts of my body I hadn't felt before. And that's how I felt when I first started doing Pilates. And so the physical benefits were almost like an added bonus. It really helped me reduce aches and pains in my back. After having the kids, I just felt a little bit insecure in my body, in that I was a bit cautious about moving, because I just sort of felt like at any time, like my back was weak. And it wasn't too long after I'd started that I just felt more confident with my movement, even picking them up or unpacking the dishwasher. I wasn't sort of guarding myself. And it sort of dawned on me after about probably 10 weeks, I started to notice those changes in my body. And that was only just doing the one mat class once a week. So it surprised me by how it changed my body. It was sort of like something I wasn't expecting. So that's why I first started. That's a bit about my background in Pilates. And then, of course, we trained and got started with My Pilates Time. Yeah, I felt the difference straight away. Someone asked how long until I felt the difference. Good question. So the very next day, I noticed difference I noticed I'd use my core muscles, even though when I did the class, I just thought I was just laying there relaxing, not doing a whole lot. And then I noticed more changes with that security in my back and my posture within 10 weeks, because I did a 10-week course. Yeah, that's a good thing about Pilates. It's very effective, and it does make changes quickly. Yeah, so here's what we're going to go through today. I want to go through the basics of bone health. So you're here to talk about osteoporosis. So we'll talk about bones and just the basics of bone health. I want to teach you some exercises that you can do that are proven to really strengthen your bones and your muscles, and also talk to you about how you could maybe reframe what exercise could mean for you, and talk to you about how good Pilates is. So you're in the right place today if you do have osteoporosis, or you've been told you have low bone density or bone mass, and maybe you've even been told you should work on weight-bearing exercises, but you're just not sure where to start, or maybe you're confused by all the information. You've had a Google and you just don't know where to start, perhaps. Maybe you're fearful of getting started with some exercises. Or maybe you just feel worried that you'll do the wrong thing and end up hurting yourself. So if that's you, you're in the right place, and I will help you feel confident and give you all the guidelines and help you get on your way. You're also in the right place if you were like me and never sort of done fitness before, and the thought of saying, I have to do weights or some kind of resistance training sounds very foreign. So if you are where I was and never had done exercise classes before, then you're in the right place, because I love teaching beginners and helping people progress and carry on. So I just want you to imagine for a minute how things would feel different if you were a bit stronger and a little bit more healthier, and you had that confidence in your body like I started to feel after I did Pilates, feeling much more steady and more confident to try things. Since I gained that confidence in my body, when we moved to New Zealand, I was able to try things that I would have been nervous to try. So I did try skiing, and while I'm not very good at it, it was something I could enjoy with my family. And I tried paddleboarding and was able to hike and do those things. And I think if I hadn't had invested time into making my body feel stronger, I would have balked at doing those things or would have felt more cautious. So it made it easier for me. So imagine the things that you might like to do and how that would change things with your life and even with your family. And how would that make you feel as a grandma or a mum or as a wife, and just within yourself? So have a think about, imagine what it would be like to know that you had a solid, regular exercise routine in place, that you knew exactly what you needed to do, and you were able to do it, feel proud of yourself, feel successful, and just not feeling that confusion, just knowing you can get it done, and noticing the changes in your body. Imagine feeling stronger, healthier, and imagine being able to feel really calm, and for exercise to no longer feel confusing or overwhelming or even a struggle. Because that feeling, and I've had it in the past, like, I really should exercise, and get that sense of it's like a burden. But the way I think about exercise and my Pilates time is it should be light and easy and enjoyable. And keeping that in mind means that you can stay consistent and really enjoy your time. How are we going, everyone? Let me know if you have any questions. And we're going to dive into the content in a moment. But before we just dive straight on in, I want you to keep something in mind, okay? And what I want you to keep in mind is the importance of taking action. And you just being here today, making this time to join me today, or even watching the replay, that's awesome. That's a step in the right direction. And I really believe in progress over perfection. So taking those steps, so that just baby steps, and then you progress. And that's really the philosophy of why I started My Pilates Time, because it's not something so extreme. It doesn't overhaul your life, but it's just taking those steps, step by step, to build your strength and feel healthier within your body. So keep that in mind. You don't need to be perfect to get started. You don't need to wait until you're strong. You know, you don't need to have everything perfect to get started with My Pilates Time. Okay, so let's talk about the content. I'm just checking on the messages. Mostly today's, I'm just going to go through what some exercises would be good. You can try a few of them with me. I've got my mat behind me, but it's not going to be like a class where you follow along in the class with me today. I'm going to send you a class that you can do. I'll send it to you later today, and you can do that at home. But I just want to give you some guidelines and some idea of the exercises that are important for you if you have osteoporosis or osteopenia. Okay. So when we think about bones, and I've also thought about this, is it's easy to think of bones being a lifeless, hard structure within us. And I thought about bones like that for a long time until I started to read about bones and learn about bones in my studies. So bones are actually a living tissue and they have a blood flow. And because it has that blood flow, that means that the blood can bring healing. So when we do have fractures and breaks, the bones can heal. And that's very different to ligaments. So you might have sprained an ankle in the past, and that's where the ligaments are damaged. And ligaments don't have blood flow, and ligaments attach bone to bone. So when you do get a sprain or a ligaments damage, it can take a long time to heal. So the bones have a process, because they're a living tissue, they actually break down and build up. And there's a process in the body where cells, osteoblasts, actually break down the bone tissue, and osteoclasts build them up again. And this is happening all the time in our bodies. So actually, it happens every 7 to 10 years. So the bones that you had 10 years ago are not the same bones that you have today. And the bones that you'll have in 10 years are not the bones you have right now. So that's encouraging, because there's lots we can do to look after our bones and make sure they're building up as best we can. Actually, when we are in our mid-30s is when our bone mass is the strongest. So that's where the osteoblasts, where they break down the bone, and the osteoclasts build up the bone, are in good balance. So it's even. You can think of it like a scale almost. But then after that, we lose bone mass, and that's just part of aging. It happens. So the bone breaking down is more than the bone building up. So it becomes a little bit more unbalanced, especially for us women after menopause. When our estrogen drops, then estrogen is a bone preserver. And when our estrogen drops, that's when we see this breakdown of bone. And actually, after menopause, the first 5 to 7 years after menopause, women can lose up to 20% of their bone mass. And that's just the imbalance is the way it is at that point. So it's something to really keep in mind. And keeping that in mind, we need to do what we can to make sure our bones are strong. Because when the bone mass breaks down, of course, that's when our bones become fragile and thinner. So if you think about the structure of the bone, it's a bit like a honeycomb kind of shape inside. So when the osteoblasts break down parts of the bone, the little spaces in that honeycomb become bigger, and so the bones become weaker. Now, having thinner bones isn't really an issue in itself, because the issue with osteoporosis is the fractures. So when we do have a fall, that's when we can find that our bones can fracture and break, and that limits our lifestyle and causes pain. So it's not the actual having thin bones that's the problem. it's what can happen from that. A good question. Someone asked me the other day about osteoarthritis and osteoporosis, just trying to clarify what the difference is. So osteoarthritis is different because if you have osteoarthritis in your joints, it's an issue with the joint and it is inflamed and it hurts. Whereas osteoporosis doesn't hurt. And a lot of people call it, a silent disease or a silent condition because often people don't know they have it. Maybe you've had a bone density test and you've been given a score. That can give you an idea. But because it's not really something that you can see, sometimes it can be hard to have top of mind of the reason why we need to look after our bones. I read an interesting statistic when I was researching to do this workshop. 55% of women over 50 are at risk of osteoporosis or osteopenia. So it's very common and lots of women have it. So it's not something to be afraid of, but there's so much we can do. And I'm going to get into the exercises in a moment. So what can we do? We want to have strong, healthy, pliable and resilient bones that can withhold some force. And exercise helps with bone strength. Okay. So muscles, when you can work your muscles and you can see that they get stronger, it's exactly the same with the bones. So actually, when you strengthen your muscles, you strengthen your bones at the same time. Sorry, I'm just checking messages here. So muscles attach to bones. So when we strengthen, say, a muscle, the bone is actually under a bit of force as well, or a bit of stress. And that's good because when the bone is under stress, it will build up to be stronger, just like when you work your muscles, which you might be more familiar with. So there's 3 things we can do, which is proven through research that will strengthen our muscles and our bones. These are the 3 things. So weight bearing, you might have heard that, resistance training and impact. Okay, so let's think about weight bearing. So weight bearing is the weight of your body against gravity. So think about standing exercise classes. So all the classes I do where I'm standing, moving my legs, moving my arms, it's under the weight of gravity. So really, really good. That's weight bearing. Even when we go on our hands and knees, that kind of exercise in Pilates is weight bearing. And of course, walking. So if you like to walk, that's excellent. A good weight bearing exercise. Now, the research has shown that it's good, you get the best results when you vary what you do. So if you only walk, you should add in some weight bearing or some resistance training. Okay, so just having multiple things that you do is way more effective. Resistance training is where I use my little pink weights or the resistance band. You might have seen me on Instagram doing those kind of exercises. And I'm going to show you some in a moment. So those kind of exercises are super good. That's resistance, where you have some weight against you. And then the third one is impact, which is a bit harder to do because running is impact, where you've got that force. And I tried running and I hate it. So I don't know about you. Maybe you're a runner, but I'm no good at running and I don't plan on taking it up. But there are other things we can do to get a bit of impact and a bit of vibration through the bones. So even our standing Pilates classes where you can march or stomp, we can get that. Okay, so we can definitely include a little bit of that too. So if you think about exercises like swimming, that's not a weight-bearing exercise. And I hear you, Dee. So if you are a swimmer, it's very good for your lungs and your heart health, but you want to add in some other things as well. So we talked about those areas we can move our body to build strong bones. We can also think about how we nourish our body with food as well. So I should just say here, before you start any exercise program, just especially if you have a medical condition like osteoporosis, just get a check from your doctor to make sure you're right to go. And then you can be sure that the exercises I teach you are in line with all the national guidelines, but you still want to make sure that you've got that check. And then talking about nutrition and diet, that's another one you want to get checked and see what's right for you. But just on a general level, calcium is really important for our bones. And you probably know you get calcium from dairy. 2 to 3 serves is the recommendation, but you can also get calcium from other sources of food too, like sardines and almonds and tofu. And knowing the right amount is important. And also vitamin D is very important, because with the presence of vitamin D in our body, calcium can be absorbed better. So some people take vitamin D supplements. You would need to see what's right for you. But again, through food, fatty fish has vitamin D, of course, sunlight, and eggs, so egg yolk. And, you know, when I talked about that balance of the breakdown of bone and build up of bone, this is where nutrition can be really important, because calcium is mostly in our bones, but it is also in our blood. Some calcium is in our bloodstream as well. And we need that for the contraction of muscles. So you can think about our heart and our diaphragm. So we need to keep our muscles contracting to stay alive. So if our body is lacking in calcium, our body will borrow some calcium from our bones to help with the functions we need in our body. So that's why we need to do as much as we can to make sure we have fueling our body with nourishing foods to give us the healthiest body we can. So when we, and also knowing, when we talk about Pilates, knowing the areas that women often find they have fractures in means we can target those areas with specific exercises. So the 3 most common areas that women find they have fractures are the wrists, through the hips, and also the upper back or through the vertebrae. So what we can do in Pilates is do exercises that will strengthen our hips. And also strengthening through the hips and the glutes and the legs means you will have better balance, because you need strong legs and glutes for balance. So that is something that you can incorporate every single day. So we can stress the top of the femur and the hip joint, like not stress it till it hurts, but exercise it so we can build the strength there. Also for the upper back, we can do lots of exercises for posture and alignment, and we can work on wrist strength. Actually, next week in the members area of My Pilates Time, I'm sending out a tutorial on how to strengthen your wrists. So get down in, we know what we need to do. I want to show you some specifics now. So there's a couple of things that you should avoid if you have osteoporosis. So the first thing and the main thing to remember is flexion, and that's where you bend your spine forward. So a rounded shape can be common. We can end up in this shape, but we want to work on this axial elongation of our spine, good posture. So good posture isn't just to look nice and to have a nice way you stand, which I always thought it was. But, you know, you can imagine if your spine is bending forward like this, the vertebrae are rolling on top of each other. So the front part of your spine becomes weaker as the bones are rounded like that. And that's where the fractures can occur and the pain. So what we want to do is work on our alignment and our and that really nice tall posture so that the bones are stacked well and there won't be that wear and tear and that compression. So if you have osteoporosis, we don't bend forward. So you might see exercises, and I teach them to people that don't have osteoporosis, where I roll forward like this. So you wouldn't be able to do that one. When we lay on our bike and do the traditional crunch, like sit up, so that's not for you. Standing up and rolling down, that one's not for you either. But there's so much we can do, so don't feel discouraged. The other thing is moving the spine to the side like a twist. We're going to avoid that, and also we'll avoid the side movement. So we want this elongation all the time. So there's so much we can do. So I'm just going to duck over to my mat, and I might need to adjust the camera from time to time, so to show you a few different things that we can do. And like I said, I think targeting the areas that we know could be of concern if we did fall would be good. Okay, so the first one, the hips. I'll just adjust. So, no, hang on, I need to move that a bit more. How's that? Okay. So a hip hinge is this. So basically, I just bend the knees and I tip forward. Can you see how my back's really flat? I feel like I'm sticking my bottom out and I've folded here at the hips. Now, this hip hinge, and then you can stand up and then bend like this. That is really, really important, because what we're doing is we're strengthening the glutes. Okay, it's a great functional movement, because if I need to pick up my washing basket, I'm not going to round to do it like this. See the difference? I'm able to do a hinge, and I've got movement in my hips. I need to be able to fold at the hip and my knees right over my toes, but not too far, because if I do this, it really hurts. Okay, even for me, when I don't have knee issues. So it's about alignment. Holding your back up like this, you're working your back muscles as well. So things like this are going to be really, really good for you. Let me just check the questions there. Yeah, a bit like a squat, but with a flat back. Okay, so if you do continue to work with me, I can join you with live classes where we can, not like this, where I can't see you and we can't chat in person, but really help you get that form right, because getting the form right makes all the difference. Okay, and you know, like we need this move. We need to be able to do this to have the strength in our legs, to stand up from a chair, to pick up your grandchild. You know, so it's a super functional move to do. And then of course we've got our weights, our resistance. So I use 1 kilo weights, so 2 or 3 pounds, very light. And it's enough. If you do the exercises well, with good alignment, you are going to notice huge benefits. If you do the exercises with bad posture, you're not going to achieve it. So I'm going to talk, I want you just, even if it's not perfect, it's okay. I want you to keep going, but do think about posture and alignment when we do all our exercises. So, you know, strengthening the upper back, all the little snippets I show you on Instagram, but following me in a class means you don't have to remember the moves, and you can just follow along and know that all of these are going to be really safe for you. Ones like this, you know, working the back of the abs. See how I'm in a flat back here again? When I'm in a flat back, I pull my tummy in. Okay, so these kind of ones, working the upper back muscles. And you know what? You don't need to do an hour a day to get results. I don't. The truth is I don't. I do 10 minutes and that's all I do. And I feel like as I'm getting older, it's almost like body maintenance, and it's just like, oh, do this just to keep myself strong. So we've got the weights. They're handy to have. Also an exercise band. And I think we can enjoy different kinds of exercises. You know, like I get bored if I do the same thing all the time, but just changing the prop. Often this is my lounge room, and I just keep my weights there at the coffee table. So I pick them up from top when I think of it. Same with my band, or a lot of ladies have, you know, just a basket in their lounge room with a few little things like this, and I can show you how to use them and incorporate them into your life. So again, you can do so much here with the band. You don't have to be on your knees. You can do all of these standing if being on your knees hurts. I don't want anyone to do any exercises with me that hurt their body. All right, so everything you do with me shouldn't hurt. If it hurts, tell me, we'll find another way. Let me just read a few messages and catch up. Yeah, sure. I'm going to send you a class today that you can follow that is osteoporosis safe, and I'll tell you more about the membership in a minute. And it's someone, Alicia says, good to hear. I'm not a huge time commitment. Yeah, exactly. Life's busy. I think adding a little something is nice. There are days when I do an hour workout, but when I feel like it. And it's good to know that you don't have to overhaul everything to make positive changes in your body. Core strength is really important, okay? And the traditional core exercises that you see around are not going to be what you need to do. You need to do something different. So I'm going to show you. If you lay on your back and you've got your hands behind your head and you do this kind of thing, you're bending your spine forward and it's not going to be set. So you can just grab a cushion. I always do my Pilates either in my room or in the lounge room. So I can just grab a cushion, put it behind my head. And then things like this, we're going to really keep our neutral spine. And you'll be amazed how challenging this can be. So we can do these ones. We can open the legs and pull them back in. We can dip the legs. There's so much, and I've got so much to show you of ways you can work your core without doing that traditional chest lift, which is good to know. Yeah, and I do those ones all the time too. The other position that I will be taking you through is side lying position. So again, you can just grab a cushion from your lounge, you can lay down. You can get comfy, you can be on your elbow and things like this. So when you do these kind of moves, there's so much here again, so many different options we can do. But when you do these kind of moves, you're strengthening your hip. This is what you need to keep you strong so you won't fall, you won't slip over, okay? Which is the goal. We want to be really strong in our body. Oh my gosh, see, I'm just talking to you doing this and I can already feel the effort because we're just using the weight of our leg. And we know this is where we need to strengthen through the hips and the glutes so we can stress, put a bit of effort in on that area and make a difference. Okay. What else was I going to tell you about? Someone just asked, is 1 kilo weights too much? You're very light, lady. You know what? 1 kilo is fine, or do it without weights. You don't even have to hold weights. You can just do the movements, okay? I do this all the time in my classes. Just move the arms. The weight of your arms is fine. Yeah, we need to stretch out the hips because that can affect our alignment and our back. You know, when I talk about alignment, it's alignment we talked about through the spine. But, you know, if our alignment is wonky, our knees can start to hurt because maybe the alignment through our feet is not quite right. And then the angle of the joint of the knee is not as it should be. Maybe the knees turn in a little, and then that causes wear and tear. So when we can sort of align our body, the joints are all as they should be. And I think over time, it's easy to sort of get rounded, you know, sitting, reading or knitting, you're in the garden, is sitting in a car. I find it too. And then it's just a matter of regularly setting yourself back up again, positioning again. And I just think that's something that we have to do. If you want a body that's going to serve you well, you can feel good in, reduce pain, move easily, enjoy your life, then I really believe that it's just something that we should do, is a little investment in ourselves regularly. And like I said, not a huge big deal, something light, easy that you know you can do and keep up with and be consistent with. I want to encourage you. So I hope you feel like this is really good news for you, because I do believe that consistency is more important than intensity when it comes to exercise. And that's the philosophy of why I created My Pilates Time, because I do believe it should be an enjoyable form of exercise, something that you can look forward to, just like when I first started. And I looked forward to my Pilates class so much. That's actually why I started to be a teacher, a Pilates teacher, because I said to Mike, oh, I just wish it was Thursday night every week. I just love it so much. And he said to me, well, why don't you do it every day? Retrain. And I was like, oh, okay, I will. And he encouraged me to do what I love every day. And I want to help you love it as much as I do. Can I just check a question here? So when you feel like it's too easy, there's a few things you can do. You can add a heavier weight, which I have a 1.5 kilo weight. You can add more reps. You can add more time. A lot of the ladies in My Pilates Time as members do a class every day now. So they didn't start with that because it wasn't part of their routine. But as they built up that practice and started to find it easier to incorporate a new habit, then now they do it every day. Yes, I'll send the class to everyone who has registered here today. And as you progress, some of the classes in My Pilates Time are very hard. My first Pilates instructor told me, Pilates is never going to hurt, but it does get hard. Because I was like, oh, this is great, so easy. And he said, it's never going to hurt, but it will get hard. And it did. And I loved challenging myself at some points. I liked feeling myself be able to try new things and get stronger and stronger. So some of the classes are very hard, but there's lots in there if you're a beginner that I want you to start with. So I hope you feel really hopeful that this is something that you can do and that I'm here to help you. I have created My Pilates Time for people like you, and I'm here to help. So I want to invite you to join my membership. I'm just going to put a link up here so you can see it. Here we go. Oh, did it go away? Oh, it did too. Hang on a sec. Oh, no. I have to put the link up. Wait a second. Hang on. Hold tight, everyone. Thank you for patience. It's always a technical issue, isn't there? It's always something that doesn't go to plan. hopefully at the top of your chat bar, you can see a button that says join now. Can you see that? Let me know. Yeah, that's it, mypilatestime.com. Anyway, did you see that offer there? It says join now. Oh, good. It's there. That's good. So what the membership is, it's a separate website, and you have a login. So you'll get your own login, and that gives you access to the My Pilates Time, Pilates on Demand website. And when you log in, there's a whole range of classes in there, and you can click them and follow along. You can do them anytime you like, as often as you like, and at home. You also have access to live classes with me. So like I said, then a bit different to this workshop where I can only see chat. So in a live class with me, it's different because we actually talk face to face. I can even see you if you want to keep your camera on. I can help you. And I teach 2 to 3 of those classes each week. So you'd have access to that. So to become a member of My Pilates Time, it costs $19 a month, which I think is good value because, you know, if you were to go to a Pilates class, you could pay $35 just for one class, but $19 US for the month means you have continual access. So it's not, you don't need to be worried about being locked into a contract for a year or anything like that. Because I want you to be able to join without worrying. You can cancel anytime. So if you change your mind, you can cancel. So Alicia asked what platform do I use? It's a separate website. So when you register, you set up your account, and then you'll set a password, and then that password will get you into a separate website. Yeah, so I would really encourage you to give it a go, because I'm going to give you a week free in the membership. So when you click up to join, you will have the first week free, and that will give you a chance to have a look, try some classes, see how you go, and then decide if you feel like it's something that's really going to help you. So I encourage you to give it a go. And then, of course, you can cancel anytime, but I really hope that you just love it and you keep going, because when you keep going, that's when you'll see the results. Now, all the classes in My Pilates Time, you won't be suitable for you. All of them won't be suitable for you, because if you do have osteoporosis. So what I'm going to do, especially for you, is if you join today, I will be able to keep an eye on all those orders coming in, and I'll know that you have osteoporosis, or I want you to send me a message and tell me that you have osteoporosis. So what I'll do is I'll send you 3 classes to start with this week, so that you don't get overwhelmed by all the classes in the membership. So I'm just going to give you what you need to get started. Start working on those, and then next Monday I'm going to send you another class which is just suitable for osteoporosis. That way you don't have to follow a class and think, oh, trying to remember which moves I have to modify, scrolling through all the classes to try and find the right ones. That's too overwhelming. I just want you to be able to follow step by step and not be overwhelmed, and just really enjoy it that way. So you can watch it on your iPad, your computer, your phone. To put it on your TV, if you can plug your computer into your TV, that's fine, or you can sometimes screencast. Every TV is a bit different, so it's hard for me to give you exact instructions, but a lot of ladies watch the classes from their TV. Let me just check on the messages to see if there's any questions about getting started. So when you click on the link to join, you have a choice. The first thing you decide is if you want to pay monthly or if you want to pay for a year. So when you do pay for a year, I think that's nice because it kind of sets you up for a year. You go, okay, I've got that there. Because you know what, like I said, some weeks are busier and you might not get to as many classes, and other weeks you'll do more, and that's just how life goes, up and down, but you know you've got it there. If you pay for a year, you actually save, you get 2 months free. And if you pay monthly, $19 a month. So I'm going to send you a class today, a free class today, to your email later on today. It's $19 a month. Even if you're not in the US, it's US dollars. We work out the conversion for you at the checkout. So in the members area, I'm going to send you each week the classes I want you to do step by step. Our web developers are working today actually on putting in a box that says Osteoporosis Safe. Then all the classes are going to be in there, so they're easy to find. But to get started, don't put it off to wait. It's one of those things, again, I could have put off inviting you until I had that button there, but sometimes it's just good to just start. So I'm going to do it in a different way for you to get started. I'm sending you a class each week. And then when that button on the website is created, all the classes will be in one spot so you can find them easily. The live classes, yep, through the week. I change the time of them from week to week. You'll have a schedule. You can have a look. You can figure out the time zone difference, or I can do that for you. And they're good fun. You know, not only will I give you encouragement as you keep going, but the other ladies who have been doing it with me for, 3 months ahead of you or 6 months. I've got ladies in there that have been doing it with me for years. You're going to see their results and the way they have changed their life. And that's what's going to inspire you and keep you going. Because when you join, you'll also get access to a members only Facebook group, and you'll love that because all the ladies in there are lovely, and I think you'll love them just as much as I do. Love being part of that group. It does really honestly feel like a true connection, and a great place to be part of. So I would encourage you to invest in yourself. You really are worth the investment of the money. When I first started Pilates classes, I was paying for the kids' music lessons, sports lessons, all these things. And then to put money into myself to go to a class, I actually balked at it. But because I did that, the ripple effect through my whole life was amazing. I was calmer, better mum. I was stronger. I could play more. I had more energy. So that investment of money I put into myself changed my life, and it changed the course of my career as well. And I'm doing what I absolutely love. So you are worth the money. You're worth the investment of time that you put into yourself. Like I said, it's not an overhaul of your life. It's not all consuming. It's just little bits throughout the week that you can build into a solid routine. The questions were wiped when I clicked the join now. Can you see the join now button? So click on that, get started, because I'm going to watch the orders come in today, and I'll be in touch so I'll know that you have osteoporosis. So if you do have osteoporosis, you join today, let me know. Send me an email, just double check, because I want to make sure you get the classes and you're not overwhelmed when you go in. Okay. You are a great advertisement. Well, I really believe in what I do. So I'm sharing it because I've seen women turn their life around, become more active, do more things they love. And I just want to share that with you. Most of the classes in the membership, that's a great question, Michelle, are 15 to 25 minutes. You can also search classes based on time frames. There are longer ones, but I find 20 minutes is good. You get a good workout. It's doable. You can do a workout before you go out for coffee with your friends. Do it after you get home from work. It works. So I want to encourage you because, like I said, I feel like it's almost like body maintenance. And without sounding too negative, if we don't be proactive with our health and with our bodies do deteriorate. And that's just what it is. We get older, we get weaker. So It's a loving nudge for you to, you know, be proactive and choose to invest in yourself. So thank you everyone for coming. I appreciate your time today and your kind words. If I haven't answered your question and you've got a burning question, you can email me. So my website is mypilatestime.com, and you can contact me through that, or on Instagram, My Pilates Time. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you in there today. And I will send you your free class and help you get on your way with this good game plan for you to enjoy. So thanks everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.